Today we've got wild wrecks, convenient cops, crazy close calls, and tons more. Buckle up and let's get rolling. Charlie was driving a snowplow-equipped pickup with a snowmobile in the bed that he'd bought days earlier, when a pickup pulling a travel trailer lost control while passing him, hitting him and sending them both off the road.
Great heavens. Okay, Garmin.
Charlie called 911 right away while his passenger, his friend Jack, grabbed his first aid kit and fire extinguisher. Thankfully, neither one was needed as there were no serious injuries and no fire. Somehow, Charlie managed to drive his pickup home after using ratchet straps to unjam the bed from the wheel, all in 8-degree weather, which he said is warmer than usual. Brrr! The collision totaled Charlie's Ford F-150, but he plans to buy it back from the insurance company and replace the bed with a flatbed. He doesn't know what will happen with his snowmobile, which was also damaged. Jackie had just left work and was headed home when her Kia Forte was rear-ended by a pickup hauling a small excavator on a trailer. The pickup repeatedly hammered Jackie's Kia, but thankfully she'd left enough space ahead of her to avoid getting pushed into a Dodge Challenger. She called the police, and they found the pickup driver responsible for the collision. Jackie was able to download the footage from her dashcam and provide it to the police, but she said they didn't give either driver any citations, even though she admits they'd both been speeding. In total, the collision did $8,000 in damage to Jackie's Kia. Thankfully, nobody was severely injured, and she's glad she had a dashcam to prove what had happened. She told us it saved her from a lot of headache. She highly recommends that everyone get dashcams, and surprise, surprise, so do we. If you need a dashcam, we've put links in the description to the exact models we use in our own vehicles, along with exclusive coupon codes. Kevin witnessed some insane road rage after a BMW driver triggered the driver of a Mustang by merging ahead of him. When the Mustang driver realized that the BMW was about to get into his lane, he floored the gas and tried to block his merge. When that attempt failed, it suddenly became his life's mission to get revenge or something. The Mustang driver eventually got ahead of the BMW, brake-checking it to a complete stop before jumping out to yell at the BMW driver. Proving himself more intelligent, the BMW driver sped away, but things were far from over. The Mustang driver then threatened to sideswipe the BMW, forcing the driver to hit a curb before the BMW driver faked him out by going straight from a turn lane. The Mustang then spun around to give chase. Eventually, they approached a red light before the Mustang sped through it seconds before it turned green. Using his brain once again, the BMW driver, who had only ever tried to evade the Mustang's attacks, turned right. Every time we show a road rage video, commenters say things like, "I bet there was something else that happened before this." Well, based on the footage we have, these two drivers never met until the BMW turned onto the road. The BMW driver then made a safe and legal merge with plenty of space between him and the Mustang, but it looks like the Mustang driver saw this as some sort of challenge, and the race was on. Yikes! Watch out for this tough guy. Caitlin was parked on the street in a place she clarified is a legal place for her to park, but that didn't stop a city bus from clipping her Subaru Impreza as it drove by. As the bus showed no signs of stopping, Caitlin's boyfriend sprinted after it while she pursued it in her car. Once the two of them had flagged down the bus, the driver claimed he had no idea that he'd hit Caitlin's Subaru. When police arrived, they immediately found the bus driver responsible. The city will now be paying to repair her Subaru, as well as for a rental for her to get around in the meantime. Thankfully, nobody was injured by the collision. Christoph was waiting at a red light when he watched another driver not do that. Right after the car ran the red light, an SUV right behind it did the same thing. That's two red light runners. Just kidding, obviously the second driver was a cop who was pulling over the first for some instant justice. Nice! Marco was driving down a road in Texas when he was suddenly shocked to encounter a pickup truck headed toward him in his own lane. The pickup's bright headlights blinded Marco until the last second, and when he slammed his brakes to avoid a head-on collision, the engine of his Nissan Versa stalled. Incredibly, an impact was avoided by mere inches. Unsure, Marco stopped to check his car for damage, but thankfully he wasn't able to find any. Kita and her boyfriend were on their way to a strawberry festival, which sounds delicious by the way, when a driver behind them failed to brake in time after Kita was forced to slow down for a turning vehicle. Kita made a claim with the other driver's insurance provider. Even though she was able to drive her Kia Soul away from the collision scene, the damage was severe enough to total her vehicle. She put the $3,800 settlement toward the down payment on a new vehicle. Thankfully, nobody involved in the collision was seriously injured. Drone Master witnessed instant justice after a speeding driver zoomed past him. The speeder passed another vehicle, this time illegally, but was spotted by an oncoming police officer who lit up the party lights before flipping a U-turn to pull the scofflaw over. You'll love to see it. Tamala and her husband Chris were moving from Tennessee to Florida, and we're seeing the view from Chris's Chevy pickup. Tamala is driving the 26-foot rental truck directly ahead. Suddenly, the semi-truck right next to Tamala smashed into a washing machine that had fallen onto the highway, obliterating it and sending debris everywhere. Tamala and Chris both stopped at the next highway exit and checked for damage to their vehicles. Thankfully, they didn't find any. CL encountered an unsecured load when a passing pickup lost a mattress on a Texas highway just as the pickup was passing CL's Toyota Tacoma. CL watched following drivers dodge the meandering mattress, and the pickup driver appeared to be pulling over to go back for it. Alexis was driving down a California highway, and while she discussed with a coworker how much they both hate the way the traffic on this particular highway always gets backed up, they witnessed a rear-end collision. The driver of a Land Rover cut across the highway before rear-ending traffic that was literally stopped for an exit. Alexis told us she stopped and provided her dashcam footage to the victims, as well as to the California Highway Patrol. She wanted to remind our viewers to stay off the phone while driving and stop speeding. It's not worth it just to save a couple of minutes. She also said we inspired her to get her dashcam and she's never regretted it. Chris encountered a Tesla behaving badly right after leaving work and heading home for the day.
That Tesla man can't drive.
Wham bam Tesla behaving badly.
When traffic ahead of the Model Y slowed down for a traffic light, the driver swerved around them and punched the juice pedal just in time to run a red light. Thankfully, in spite of their recklessness, nobody was hurt. John watched a Lexus driver turn through a flashing yellow arrow before getting T-boned by a Hyundai with a solid green light.
Holy
Conveniently, a police SUV was just ahead of John when the collision occurred, and the officer turned around to secure the scene within seconds. When John came back the other way 10 minutes later, he said paramedics were on scene, but nobody appeared to be seriously injured. This submitter was on his way home from hanging out with a friend when a deer walked into the road ahead of him and all he could do was slam on the brakes. Thankfully, our submitter was able to bring his Toyota Highlander to a stop without colliding with the young buck. Jarek was driving down a highway after work when he watched a semi-truck tip over after taking a curve too fast. When the trailer tipped halfway over, it clipped an overpass support before splintering into a billion pieces. Jarek pulled over while his passenger called 911 to report the incident. Incredibly, nobody was injured in the wreck. After an oblivious SUV driver made a questionable turn across traffic in a work zone, forcing a trucker to swerve around them, Alexander watched a sheriff's deputy take off after them to deliver some instant justice. We've all seen drivers make dumb mistakes and create dangerous situations, but it's not often that we get to see a cop hold them responsible. Gotta love it. Aiden was on his way home when a Jeep driver ran a stop sign before clipping his Mazda 3. Aiden filed a claim with the Jeep driver's insurance provider, including his dashcam footage as evidence. It didn't take long for them to accept full responsibility, and they're now paying for all the repairs to his Mazda. Aiden wanted to shout out his girlfriend Elena, who loves watching Wham Bam videos with him. If you love our videos, we hope you'll hit that subscribe button while we keep rolling. If you think we've earned it, that is. Matt was proceeding through a fresh green light when he watched an SUV nearly hit a pedestrian in the crosswalk. The pedestrian leapt away from the SUV, which thankfully stopped just short of running him over. Matt told us this is a common problem at this particular intersection, and he's glad he only witnessed a close call. Marco was on his way to get some lunch when he watched a Toyota driver give a Mercedes SUV what he called a strong love tap. Marco told us the impact dented the door of the Mercedes. He stopped to make sure both drivers were okay, and that's when he learned that this was the Toyota driver's first collision. The Mercedes driver was on her way back to jury duty, but Marco gave both drivers copies of his dashcam footage before they left. Thankfully, nobody was injured. Austin was on his way to college when he encountered some agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I won't lie, ever since the first Avengers movie, I have always wanted to build a S.H.I.E.L.D. SUV. Thanks for sharing, Austin. Don't forget to check out our other episodes. Did you know this is number 162? If you're new to the channel, you've got a lot of catching up to do. Don't forget to send us your dashcam videos using the link in the description and subscribe to be notified when we upload again next week. See you then.
Wham, bam, we got a Patreon, man. Please support the show.